Members of the princely family of Monaco unveil a new collective artwork in France. Princess Benedikte of Denmark presents an award in Charlottenlund. Crown Princess Mette-Marit of Norway attends the opening of a mental health conference in Oslo. And Queen Letizia of Spain attends a screening of a new documentary in Madrid. All this and much more coming up next on your Royal Daily News. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Alexandra, and this is your Royal Daily News for March 9th, 2023. In Madrid, Her Majesty Queen Letizia of Spain, as Honorary President of UNICEF España, attended the premiere of the documentary series entitled El Camino Interior, directed by Mr. Miguel Ángel Tobias, held at the Auditorio del Espacio Fundación Telefónica. The documentary follows Mr. Tobias, who completes all 16 stages of the Camino de Santiago, which has for centuries been a route traveled by millions of pilgrims for religious, cultural, sports, or leisure walks from Lyon to Finisterre. In each of the series, Mr. Tobias is accompanied by individuals who are dedicated to helping others transform their lives, having themselves gone through profound processes of personal transformation. Upon entering the auditorium alongside the Spanish Minister of Education and Vocational Training, Ms. Maria Pilar Alegría, the President of Telefónica and the Fundación Telefónica, Mr. José María Alvarez, the General Director of Fundación Telefónica, Ms. Carmen Morales, Her Majesty the Queen was warmly welcomed with a round of applause and cheers. Thereafter, Mr. Tobias took to the stage to introduce the documentary, as well as to answer a few questions. Prior to the viewing of the documentary, Her Majesty the Queen thanked those who participated in the documentary, from the walkers to the helpers, as well as the director for creating the film. Quote, "We know that mental health is an issue that matters to all of us, and that we are all involved in some way, and we feel responsible." End quote. In Monte Carlo, Her Serene Highness Princess Stephanie of Monaco recently sat down for an interview to discuss the upcoming centenary celebrations of the birth of Prince Rainier III of Monaco. The celebrations will begin on May 31st, 2023, with a party in the Palais Princier courtyard. All Monégasque citizens and residents are welcome to celebrate the birth of Prince Rainier III, who dedicated 56 years of his life to the service of the people of Monaco. In an interview several months ago, the princess noted that the family wanted to, quote, "organize events for the younger generation to discover Prince Rainier and all that he did. The objective is that we realize that what we see almost everywhere in Monaco, we owe it to Prince Rainier." End quote. The big party on the Rock will include a giant birthday cake, which the princess and Prince Albert II noted that Prince Rainier III would have loved, numerous activities and shows, and a photo exhibition entitled La Prince à la Maison will also be shown during the party. Throughout the year, there will be satellite events in Monaco, with the celebrations concluding in early 2024 with the 50th anniversary of the Monte Carlo International Circus Festival. Yesterday morning in Monaco-Ville, Their Serene Highnesses Prince Albert II and Princess Charlene of Monaco presided over the presentation of the 2023 Women of Commitment Awards on the occasion of International Women's Day, held inside the Grand Hemicycle at the National Council of Monaco. Three inspiring and influential women, Miss Chantal Ravera, Miss Caroline Vernin, and Miss Valérie Lucas, received the award in recognition of their commitment to equality and women empowerment. During the ceremony, the President of the National Council of the Principality of Monaco, Miss Brigitte Pagès, gave a speech expressing her determination to continue to legislate responsibly in favor of equality and the protection of women's rights. In the afternoon, Prince Albert II and Princess Charlene, accompanied by His Serene Highness Hereditary Prince Jacques of Monaco and Her Serene Highness Princess Gabriella of Monaco, on the occasion of International Women's Day, attended the unveiling of the collective art piece by Mr. One Tees at the Espace Saint Antione in France. The collective art piece was created in collaboration with the princely family, along with 100 children from various primary schools in the Principality, as well as by Monégasque citizens. The theme of this year's International Women's Day in Monaco is Women and Sport, seen through the prism of a new generation. The collective art piece represents the face of Miss Alice Millet. Miss Alice Millet was a, quote, great promoter of women's sports who participated in the first Women's Olympics, end quote. In Charlottenlund, Her Royal Highness Princess Benedikte of Denmark, as patron of the Helene Elsass Foundation, presided over the presentation of the Helene Elsass Prize. The Helene Elsass Prize, which includes a check worth 150,000 Danish krone, is presented to an individual, organization, or institution that has made an extraordinary effort on behalf of people living with cerebral palsy. Quote, for example, within the field of education, work life, sports, and spare time, or art and culture. The prize aims to appreciate new initiatives ensuring better conditions for people living with cerebral palsy, especially in everyday life and in relation to others, end quote. The winner of the Helene Elsass Prize went to actor, comedian, and entrepreneur Mr. Jacques Nocel. According to a press release, Mr. Nocel was awarded the prize for, quote, having been a beacon in the field of disability for many years, and for helping to raise the bar for the perception of what you can do when you live with a disability, end quote. Congratulations. Awesome. In Stockholm, Her Royal Highness Crown Princess Victoria of Sweden held an audience this morning with the National Coordinator for Agenda 2030, Mr. Gabriel Wikström, at the Kungliga. Mr. Wikström's work focuses on, quote, perspective and involvement of children and young people, especially those who are in a particularly vulnerable situation, end quote. During today's meeting, the Crown Princess received an update on the latest Agenda 2030 findings. Meanwhile, Their Majesties King Carl Gustaf and Queen Sylvia of Sweden began their one-day visit to Västmanland County on the occasion of His Majesty the King's Golden Jubilee year. Upon their arrival at the central station, Their Majesties were warmly welcomed by the governor, Johan Stert, and his wife, Marie. Once the official welcoming ceremony was over, Their Majesties and the governor and Marie walked to the local concert hall to attend a cultural event that included a musical and theater performance. After the performance and another walk, Their Majesties arrived at the Västerö Slottet, where the governor hosted a luncheon in honor of Their Majesties' visit. The day ended at the Västmanland County Museum, where Their Majesties viewed a photo exhibition entitled Carl Gustaf, 50 Years for Sweden. In Gardermoen, Her Royal Highness Crown Princess Mette-Marit of Norway attended the opening of the 2023 Mental Health Conference, held at the Quality Airport Hotel. The theme of this year's conference is Youth and Mental Health, with the main question, how to create hope when it's difficult to imagine a future. During the conference, the Crown Princess attended a lecture by the Norwegian General Secretary of Mental Health, Ms. Linda Berg, who presented the results of a mental health report on the state of young people. Quote, 1 in 5 young people between the ages of 12 and 20 say they have few or no friends. Almost 1 in 10 has suicidal thoughts, and more than 1 in 4 confirms having experienced symptoms of anxiety or depression. Almost 1 in 3 is worried about their own mental health, end quote. Online bullying and abuse and concerns about the future are major contributors. Meanwhile, Their Majesties King Willem-Alexander and Queen Maxima of the Netherlands concluded their 3-day state visit to Slovakia. On their final day, Their Majesties, accompanied by the President of Slovakia, Zuzana Kaputova, visited the Tatra Mountains in northeastern Slovakia. In the city of Poprad, Their Majesties and the President visited an aid center for Ukrainian refugees. In the afternoon, Their Majesties and, the President visited a school where they met with young people and teachers. Whilst at the school, discussions focused on the importance of democracy and disinformation. Quote, through a special learning module, students learn about democratic values and how to recognize fake news, end quote. The day ended at the River Bella in the Tatra National Park. During their visit, their Majesties were given a guided tour of the area, where they learned about nature management in the area and the challenges as well as measures there are to maintain and improve biodiversity. Back in Belgium, their Majesties King Philippe and Queen Mathilde of the Belgians began their one-day visit to the Hainaut province. The day began with a tour of the Hainaut quarry. The quarry is the largest limestone ornamental stone quarry in Europe. Hainaut bluestone has been quarried and worked there for almost 135 years, according to the Belgian Royal Court. Thereafter, their Majesties visited Le Conquet Association Center. According to the Belgian Royal Court, again, this, quote, socio-professional integration center offers training in areas such as carpentry, cooking, and gardening. The center also has social taxi service and a socio-cultural entertainment center, end quote. The day ended with a walkabout in front of the La Louvière City Hall, where they met with hundreds of well-wishers who came out to see their king and queen. In Potsdam, His Imperial and Royal Highness Prince Georg Friedrich of Prussia announced that he has dropped his 2 lawsuits that he has had since 2014 against the Federal Republic of Germany and the states of Brandenburg and Berlin over the return of 15,000 incredibly valuable family heirlooms worth millions. According to the New York Times, items include, quote, paintings, sculptures, metals, glass, furniture, tapestries, porcelains, books, and documents that were confiscated from his family in eastern Germany after World War II and are now part of museum collections, end quote. In this morning's press release, Prince Georg Friedrich explained why he decided to drop the lawsuits. Quote, since the reunification, my family has been actively involved in the dialogue on how the unresolved question of ownership of around 15,000 works of art can finally be resolved, which my great-grandparents, Wilhelm and Cecile, and my grandparents, Louis Ferdinand and Kira, in 1945, when fleeing to the west of Germany, had to leave behind. The fact that in more than 30 years it has not been possible to finally clarify which works of art belong to our private collection and which objects belong to the state collections makes it clear how complex the subject is. A judicial clarification could take decades to complete. I am therefore firmly convinced that an out-of-court compromise would be in the best interest of all parties involved, and, in particular, in the interest of the state collections. I myself am willing to make considerable concessions in favor of the Federal Republic of Germany and the states of Berlin and Brandenburg in order to give everyone involved planning security and to do justice to the historical responsibility of my family. In any case, my private collection will continue to be open to visitors interested in art at Burg Hohenzollern and other palaces and museums, end quote. In Porto, His Royal Highness Duarte Pio, Duke of Braganza, presided over the presentation of the 2023 Infante Dom Enrique Awards, held at the Oporto British School. Established in 1998, the Infante Dom Enrique Awards is similar to the Duke of Edinburgh International Award, which is presented to outstanding students who have volunteered to help their local community, received good grades, have been kind and compassionate towards others, and, well, overall, been a super awesome individual. And finally, in Hayes, the Royal Highnesses, the Prince and Princess of Wales, visited the Hayes Muslim Center to, quote, thank those involved in the aid effort and those who have fundraised to help communities affected by the devastating earthquakes in Turkey and Syria, end quote. And there you have it. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow on Friday, March 10th, with all the latest royal news. Until then, I wish you all a wonderful evening and a great day tomorrow. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Okay, take care, everyone. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.